Hi, good morning, everybody. So before we begin, please join me in saying the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good morning, everyone, and thank you for coming to our second annual Young Women's Career Conference. My name is Elizabeth HAAN, and I am the co-president of Temecula Youth Innovators, a group founded by the city of Temecula last year. We focus on design and implementation of projects that bring value to our community. We had the honor of being involved in the planning of this event today. The Young Women's Career Conference started with the idea of giving young women the opportunity to be mentored by female community leaders. Now, we have a conference with over 170 participants. We hope today will share insight on prospective fields and create connections for your futures. We have a great conference planned, beginning with opening words from Councilwoman Marianne Edwards, then mentor introductions, followed by a keynote speech by Councilwoman Edwards and a panel discussion. There will also be time for mentors to spend at 2 different tables as well as a raffle. Also, feel free to post on Instagram or Instagram stories with the hashtag Young Women's Conference. So without further ado, I would like to invite to the stage someone who we believe empowers women by leading through example. In her time working with several nonprofit boards and committees, she has established great change in the city of Temecula. Because of her efforts, she was elected into the TVUSD governing board and voted into the Temecula City Council. The woman who created this conference, please welcome Councilwoman Marianne Edwards.
Well, good morning. I said, Charles, how in the world are we going to fit this many people? But you know what? We could get a little closer together next year if we had to, don't you think? I'm so glad to have you all here today, and we have so much fun. So the way that the event is structured, you will get to know your mentor that's at your table and really, be hard on them. Pick their brain, ask them a lot of questions. You want to drain them of all that good advice. Then we're going to actually rotate, so it's kind of like speed dating. So you will have to get up and move to a different table, and don't try to sit at the same table because we will have people walking around to make sure that you move. So, you are at that stage in your life where you can make any number of decisions, good ones, mostly good ones. Once in a while, you'll make a clinker, but you guys can do anything that you want. Literally, in the world today, you can do anything that you want. I look back to my high school days. I was in every club in the high school except for Future Farmers of America because girls were not allowed. Ooh. So you can do anything you want. How exciting is that? So, I'm not going to give my keynote right now, but just think, talk to your mentors, talk to each other with that in mind. You can do anything you want. And when you go to college, I always told my kids, we're paying for this. Make those professors work for you. Make them teach you. So you have that advantage. You come from a wonderful school district. Of course, I'm prejudiced, but in a wonderfully safe city, and you have the world at your feet right now. So you guys ought to be smiling about this. I always think if I could go back to be 18, would I? I probably wouldn't. I might back it up a little bit, but, just knowing all that's ahead of you, it's very exciting. So, eat your breakfast, and we're going to talk a little bit, and then we'll give you the signal, and we'll change.
Thank you, Councilwoman Edwards. Can we get another round of applause? This event would not be possible without her. So, without further ado, the next activity we have lined up for today is introductions from all of the mentors. Mentors, please keep your introductions brief as we will be on a tight schedule. We are going to begin with Mary Kay business owner, Monica Chan.
Good morning. I'm so happy to be here. It's my second year here. My name is Monica Chian. I've lived in Temecula now 11 years. I've been an entrepreneur with Mary Kay Cosmetics for 8 years. What I like to share every time I'm at a skincare class or in an event with women is my purpose really has been to inspire and to raise awareness and illuminate those God-given gifts in each person that I meet so that they can become empowered with confidence and joy. And I do that all through my Mary Kay business. So thank you for inviting me here today.
You're speaking in
Yes,
for Leah.
I'll
Yes.
speak for Leah. Hi, good morning. I'm here to represent Eat Marketplace. I'm here in place of Leah DiBernardo, our chef. I'm Grace Ladwig. I'm her Director of Operations. I help cultivate gratitude through our food, which is food that is provided by our local farmers. So we are strong in wanting to educate our community to understand that our food is medicine and therefore it's clean. And through her efforts and her wonderful recipes, I help support that, and I like to let you know that we would love to have you come by and visit us. And we also have a great deal of, young ladies that work at Eat Marketplace. One happens to be sitting at my table now, who is one of the strongest young ladies who represents Eat Marketplace. So thank you for inviting us, and we look forward to seeing you all.
I know. You ready? Hi, my name is Pascal Brown. I work for the city of Temecula. I have been working here for 19 years, and I love this job, you know. Just in case you wonder where I'm originally from, I'm from Haiti. Haiti is a Caribbean island next to Cuba, Dominican Republic. So I came to the United States when I was 14, and I went to high school in New York. My family lives in New York, so I was lucky enough to be able to go to the United States to learn. When I came to the United States, I didn't even speak English. So women, we could learn everything we want to if we put our mind into it. So I went to high school, I graduated. Now I went to college, and I have an MBA, and I have a great job, and I love working for the city. So it's a great place to be. And I have 4 kids too many, and they all went to, they all went to high school and graduated from college, unless my youngest one is 20, is in Humboldt right now, so, and I love it, so welcome everybody.
Good morning. My name is Dr. Esther Yuna Kim. I'm a plastic surgeon here in Temecula. I opened up my office in 2004 here. I met Marianne Edwards early on in my career, and no, as a friend, definitely as a friend. And she's been a great inspiration to me. This is my 2nd year here. I'm so proud to be here. And yes, I meet a lot of people from all walks of life, but my lips are sealed. So thanks for coming.
Hello. Hi, I'm Jasmine. I work for Abbott Vascular, a local medical device company where we manufacture stent delivery systems. And definitely a great opportunity. We get to challenge every day and learn about new things, and we're making great changes in the medical industry. So really happy to be here and excited to meet everyone.
Hi, everybody. Morning. I'm a coach. Welcome, everybody. It's so wonderful to be around a wonderful group of young ladies. I'm sure we as mentors are also inspired with all of this innovation and young millennial talent around us. I went to Temecula Valley High School back a couple years ago, and went off to University of South Carolina on a track scholarship, and was blessed to get a great degree in kinesiology, and coached for 20 years. Fresno State, NAU, UConn, and Northeastern in Boston. And now I'm back in Temecula servicing the Inland Empire and pretty much the entire country on student athletes and mentorship. So anyone that would like to go to college, which obviously I'm in the right room, our goal is to find the right college for you, the right fit, so that you can not just get to college but succeed at the collegiate level. And if you are an athlete, great. If you're not an athlete, the arts, music, engineering, Fortnite over here, whatever your calling That's what my husband, who worked in career development as well, that's what we do. We find internships, cohorts, all that kind of stuff. But anyway, use and abuse us. We're here for you, and look forward to learning more about all of you as well. Thank you.
Well, good morning again, so I'm not going to say everything all over again, but mentors, I can't thank you enough for being here because you're my inspiration too. We have a great wealth of strong, talented women in Temecula who are wonderful leaders, each in their own way. So that's another thing you'll learn today. There are different kinds of leaders. So again, grill those mentors at your table and, get this morning's worth out of them.
She's got you. Thank you. Hi, good morning, everyone. My name's Erica Russo. I'm a community services superintendent. I'm so happy to be here today, and I'll just kind of rotate as I talk. But I grew up in a really economically disadvantaged rural, what we would call the Rust Belt town, if you're familiar with the Rust Belt town in the Midwest. So part of what I love about my job is what we do here is we create parks, programs, all of the special events, the cultural arts and things that you see in the city of Temecula comes out of our department. You'll meet Bea Barnett, our other superintendent, as well. So for me, having grown up in an area that didn't have these advantages, getting to work in an area where we offer them is just an amazing opportunity. So my passion is really about helping young women take advantage of whatever opportunities come their way and create opportunities when they don't come their way. So if I can help any of you, feel free to reach out to me at any point. Thank you all for being here.
I'm Robin Johnson. I'm a criminal defense attorney. I have been for over 37 years. When I was in high school, I always wanted to be a lawyer, and my family thought I was weird. They said, "Why don't you want to be a teacher like your two sisters and your mom?" This was a long time ago. So things have really changed. Also, when I was finally ready to apply to law school, I had to put my ex-husband through first. He went to Yale Law. And I said, okay, I'm ready to apply to law school now. And he goes, why do you want to go to law school? I'll make plenty of money. And that's not why I went to law school, and that is why I got divorced from him shortly after. Yeah.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. I'm Darlene WETTON, CEO of Temecula Valley Hospital. It's a pleasure to be here and meet all of you wonderful people today. I'm looking forward to meeting many of you as we come around the tables. I had the opportunity to open and build the new hospital in Temecula. And now we're a multi-million-dollar company, have 900 employees, 350 physicians, and a huge volunteer division. We have 350 volunteers at the hospital. So it's wonderful to be here in this community. And one of the things that I really enjoy about my role is the values that we set at the hospital. Innovation is one of our values. And it's really fun to be able to do new things and be innovative in a hospital setting. Trust, courage, and compassion are our other values and things that I'll be happy to share with you as I get to meet all of you this morning. Thank you.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Bea Barnett. I'm the Community Services Superintendent for the City of Temecula. I'm in my 14th year here. I graduated from UCLA. I'm from the South Bay of California, of Los Angeles. I grew up in Carson, California. And fun fact, my director, Kevin Hawkins, also grew up in Carson. We're 2 years apart from Carson High School. So we didn't know each other then. But fast forward 34 years later, and 2 kids from Carson are working at the City of Temecula, making it just as great as where we grew up. I'm the daughter of Cuban immigrants. They came to this country and raised 5 children. I have 3 children of my own. I live in a family of artists. I get to oversee the cultural arts here. So if you've been to the theater, the museums, the art galleries, that's all in my division, and I look forward to meeting you, getting to know you better, and encouraging your creativity. Thank you.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I couldn't see you. There you go.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Randy Joel, and I am the Director of Legislative Affairs and the City Clerk for the City of Temecula. In that capacity, I get to do fun things with elections, and I get to do a lot of special projects for the City Manager and the City Council. Personally, this is probably the thing I'm most proud of, is I'm a first-generation Indian, born to Indian immigrants. I am the first in my family to go to college and law school. I have 13 cousins on my dad's side and 6 on my mom's side. So I was the first one to go to college and law school out of both. And then I too have one kid too many who is a senior at Southern Oregon University. So I'm looking forward to spending some time with you guys this morning.
Good morning, ladies. I'm Tammy Marine. I'm the Executive Director of Habitat for Humanity Inland Valley. I've been at Habitat for about 15 years, but have spent 27 years in the nonprofit sector. One thing I want to say to each of you is I know at our table there's some people that are very definitive on what they're going to be doing and some that aren't quite sure, but I just encourage you to follow your passions, to kind of connect to something that just isn't a job, but something that provides you joy and helps you to fulfill your inner mission. And that's what I feel about nonprofit work. So I'm really excited to be here with you today and happy to answer any questions later about nonprofit industry in general.
Good morning. I'm Joyce Johnson, and I am Dean of Instruction at Mount Sinai Central College. And I was asked, what is that? And I'll just the comparison that my granddaughter says. She said, Mom, Gammy, you're like the principal. So really my day-to-day job is really overseeing the career education programs at Mount Sinai Central College. And that includes nursing, allied health, and anything you can possibly think of that leads to a career, whether it's in the sciences, whether it's in the STEM programs, automotive, business, computer science, all of those programs is what I oversee. And I'm a nurse by trade. 30 years as a nurse and 20 years as an educator. So that's what's near and dear to my heart, is to ensure that people are following their passion. And part of what I do, and my favorite thing that I do, is ensure that people have a vision for their success and ensure that they get those resources and that pathway to achieve that success. So we have about 18,000 at Mount Sinai Central. And we are your college here in Temecula. And in 2020, we'll be building a opening our phenomenal campus right here in Temecula. So I spoke with all these ladies here, and each one of you identified a career goal that Mount Sinai Central can help you achieve that. So keep that in mind.
Hi, my name is Lieutenant Colonel Chris Bell. I'm a 1991 graduate of the Air Force Academy. And I live here. I live in Murrieta, actually. I have 2 children. So I have a freshman in college at Santa Barbara, and I have a sophomore at Murrieta Valley. And I guess I want to tell you that no matter what you think you want to do, be open to opportunities, okay? And be open to the people that you meet, because that opportunity might not be in the direction you found. I looked at an opportunity in the Air Force because I needed a way to pay for school, and I knew it provided a secure job. I ended up staying with that opportunity because it gave me so many other things to do. But the connections you make with the people along your journey will be just life-changing and so worthwhile. So keep an open mind with all the ladies that you talk with today, because it might not be the thing that they did, might not be what you want to do, but I bet you they'll have some ideas about how you can achieve the goals that you have. And remember, even I was just telling my table, my son thought he wanted to go to UCLA. That was the one school he didn't get into. So you have to look, oh no, he is thrilled that he's at Santa Barbara now. But you have to realize paths change. You may not be aware that sometimes you're number 1. That number 2 might be a better choice for you. Thank you very much.
Good morning, ladies. My name is Kim Garish. I'm the executive director of Michelle's Place. It's a cancer resource center, so it's a nonprofit organization. I graduated from San Diego State University with a journalism degree, and much to what you're speaking of, that I thought I wanted to do something different. Never thinking, I didn't even know what a nonprofit was, and I was their first employee 15 years ago. And today we have 10 employees, 65 volunteers, and serving over 1,800 women a year. So I found my passion, I found what I love to do, and so I'm good at it. And so I would say that from the women in this room, you have a lot to learn from them, and be open. Just be really open to what you're hearing today and just your path in life. So I'm happy to be here, and what a great event, Marion. Thank you for inviting us and having us and doing this for our ladies in our community.
Thank you, mentors. We have some truly incredible women gathered here today. Moving on to our next activity, we are going to have some time for you all to talk to your mentors at your table. After 15 minutes, we are going to have all of the mentors switch tables and spend another 15 minutes with another group of young women. I will make an announcement when it is time to switch.
All right, so we hope that you guys got to engage in quality time with each of your mentors. I'd like to now reintroduce our keynote speaker, Miss Marianne Edwards. So please clap your hands together for a round of applause.
Well, good morning again. Are you having fun so far? I know, I love this event. So in typical fashion, I did not write a keynote address. I rarely write down what my remarks are going to be because I talk so much that I'm fairly comfortable. I'm very comfortable speaking in front of groups. And I have enough experience now to be comfortable talking about city subjects or nonprofit subjects or, those kinds of things. So I really speak from the heart, and I tell people I'm just talking to one person, really, but I'm talking to one person 170 at a time. So my two tables actually wrote my keynote address this morning. So I asked them, if you were giving advice to everybody in the room who are headed off to college, you're going to go to work, or whatever you're going to do, go on a mission trip, what would we tell them? What are the things that we would tell them that they can carry through the rest of their life? So the first one was, and that I started, this was one that I added, was no matter what you're doing or where you are, surround yourself with those people who are positive and who are going to encourage you and who are going to support you on those times when you just can't take another step. And there will be those times. Just prepare yourself. So you need to have a good backup group, good wingmen or women, good wing women that are going to help you get through those times. Don't spend any time with those negative Nellies because they're out there and they'll just drain you and drain you. You'll never move forward if you're around people who are negative because they're always going to find reasons they can't do something or reasons that somebody's working against them. So surround yourself with positive people who are always going to lift you up. And as you grow in life, those positive people are going to change, obviously, because you're going to move around. And talking about friends, as an adult, you will have in your lifetime probably 2 or 3 friends that, you once lived near them, and they're just people you automatically click with. Don't feel bad if you only have 2 or 3 really close, comfortable friends like that. And the ones that you can call from across the country, and it's like you just talked to them yesterday, but you haven't talked to them for 8 or 9 months. But time and distance mean nothing. So your friends are going to change as you move and grow. But you'll always have a few of those that you're really comfortable with. So make sure those are your positive friends. No matter where you are, no matter what's going on, you can always get a hold of them. And they'll talk you down from the ledge. The second thing was, keep an open mind. And we had 2 great examples this morning. We had Kim, who told us she went to journalism school. I can't see you in as a journalist. I mean, surely you're capable, but you've done so much more, and you're such a people person. So, and then we had the student, and my son had the exact same scenario. He wanted UCLA, that was his first choice. He did not get in. Oh man, I couldn't, but captain to the mock trial team, state champ. I said, who are you people letting in at UCLA? He ended up, he chose Santa Barbara, and we were on campus, you know, about 5 minutes where he said, yeah, I think this isn't so bad. Duh. So keep an open mind about your situation. It's never as dark as you think it is, and there are very few things. Look back to those days when you were 12 or 13 and you had a pimple on your face, your world was over, right? Well, very few things like that really are going to cause your world to be over. It may be an inconvenience, it may mean you have to change your plans, it may mean, you know, you have to do a total reverse, something. But as far as the rest of your life goes, sometimes those things are beneficial. We talked about that too. Sometimes when that door closes and forces you to go a different direction, that's a good thing. And Police Chief Lisa told us exactly that. She was, you know, in psychology and working in counseling, and all of a sudden she got a call to go to the academy, and she said yes. Her immediate reaction may have been, are you crazy? You know, I don't want to do that. But she did it. She wouldn't be our police chief now, and she is awesome. So keep an open mind and have a plan A, B, and C. Something to fall back on, and also be able to call that friend that's going to hold you up and be positive. So we said keep your priorities straight. And then I made him define what priorities are. What does that mean? Because priorities change depending on what you're doing at the time, right? If I'm working on my term paper for the end of the year, that's got to be a priority. So I don't think that's what we were talking about. You know, that would be the time management question. We also worked on that. But for me, when you keep your priorities straight, those are those core values that are instilled in you by your parents, your faith, you know, wherever your core values come from. And they actually provide that framework. And no matter what you're doing in life, you're going to, you know, and you may stray outside the framework once in a while. You may color outside the lines. But pretty much you're going to stay within those boundaries. So I call those your priorities. So my priorities are going to be faith, family, and community, and people. Anything that involves people, I'm right there. So keep your priorities straight, and then again, keep an open mind, because you can work within those priorities. The possibilities are infinite on the things you can do. We also said be positive in all things. Now that's different than surrounding yourself with positive people. If you're going to be positive in all things, you're going to be the one that gets the phone call from the friend who has just fallen. You know, she's down, she can't see a way out, something happened, she got that pimple, you know, I mean, it's, you know, it's over. So you're going to be that positive person, and sometimes you have to be positive for the people around you. You've got to set that example, even those times when you don't feel like it. And I don't know if you've heard the phrase, fake it till you make it. It's really true. If you are feeling down, I'd say the best thing to do, or for me, I would, you know, leave the house, and I'd go to the Assistants League, where I was a member, and I'd work in the thrift shop. I'd go in the back, I'd sort clothes. Pretty soon you're doing that, you got other ladies around you, all of a sudden you feel great. So have those tools in place. When you're down, call that person, but remember, you're going to be that person sometimes too. So be positive in all things, and I said I wasn't going to repeat this, but I will. Don't tell anybody, okay? They call me Mary Poppins on the council because I'm perfectly positive in every way. There may be a giant pile of manure in the middle of this room, but I know there's a pony under there. So sometimes you have to think like that. Sometimes when you don't feel like you can take another step, you take it anyway, because you set that example. And don't let yourself get bogged down. You know, being negative and being sad can be a habit. You can get into that habit, and we all know people who drive you crazy because they are always picking something out on somebody else that looks funny, or something's not right, or they're negative. It gets to be a habit. Don't let that happen. And if you surround yourself with those positive people, and you set an example as one of those positive people, that's going to help you keep going when times really get rough. So how many of you are always on time, never overpack for a trip, never miss a plane, never behind on a project, never? Everybody raise your hand. Exactly. time management, and I am not good to talk to anybody about time management, okay? Because I'm chronically 10 minutes late. Now you say, Marianne, if you can be 10 minutes late, and on time being 10 minutes late, why can't you just get there earlier? I don't know. Actually, I do know, because I love people, and I spend that 10 minutes after the meeting's over talking to that one person who said, hey, you know, my husband's having trouble with his VA benefits. Who can I call? I'm spending that 10 minutes with her. So I walk into the meeting late. She's taken care of. I don't mind being embarrassed walking into the meeting because I'll tell people I was helping somebody get their VA benefits. The people in that meeting are going to get that extra 10 minutes from me at the end, and then I'll be late for the next one. So how many of you have a trouble with time management because you're cramming 8 pounds into your 2-pound bag? Thank you. We're women, aren't we? Why do we do that? I told you, but you know what? I was born that way. I was in every club in high school except Future Farmers, and they wouldn't let me because I was a girl. So I can't tell you, don't put too much on your plate, because I am the worst example of that. You know why? Because everything is so much fun. It's like the little kid who doesn't want to go to bed because they want to stay up and have fun. I still do that. I did not go to bed at all last night. Do I look like I was up all night? Uh-huh. It takes practice. All I'm going to tell you is, don't bog yourself down so much that you ever like the tea kettle, you ever just blow? You have so much to do and so much on your plate. I remember coming back from my beautiful little Irish grandmother's funeral, Cameron, Missouri, my hometown, 3,600 people. I grew up with 1,500 mothers. So, buried Gram at 98. She had a full life. She was incredible. And I came home, and I was gone for like 4 days. I had so much to do, and I was so far behind, and most of it was volunteer stuff with, you know, like the 12 nonprofit boards I was serving on at the time or whatever. And I just broke down and cried, and I said, I just can't do this. I got on the phone. Within 10 minutes, I had called the chairman or the person in each organization that I would answer to. You know, if I was working in the thrift shop, I'd call the thrift shop chairman. And I pulled back on like 6 of those things and said, I just can't do it right now. I felt like a new person. I felt like a new person. And within 10 minutes, I had solved that problem. But of course, over the course of the next year or two, everything crept right back the way it was. Sometimes you've got to take a check. You know, you've got to check your spirit, and it's time to just back off and get back to reality, at least take a breather. And I've done that several times. It's kind of like the purge. You know, have you ever gotten so upset because you can't find anything in your closet, so you just throw everything in the donation thing and start over? Sometimes it's easier. So it's like the purge. So that's the only advice I can give you on time management, because I am just as bad, if not worse, than most of you. So fortunately, I work with very forgiving people. So how many of you are able to laugh at yourself? Boy, wouldn't you say that's one of the most important things you can learn? And that comes from experience, and it comes from being comfortable with who you are. And I wasn't when I was a teenager. I was really self-conscious from this little bitty town because I had 1,500 mothers looking at me all the time. So the quicker you can learn to have a sense of humor and laugh at yourself, the better. And I'll relay you a super quick story that I told them in college. I was a singer with the jazz band, and I had been asked to come to a sorority to, you know, be looked over, I guess. You know, they wanted to do the whole inspection thing for the pledge. And so I had to sing that afternoon. I sang, and I had to run back to the dorm room, take a quick shower. I had long hair at the time, and just put my makeup on, and had to end up going to this thing with wet hair. So I ran up to the dresser, and it was covered with all kinds of makeup tools and things. It was the dresser that my roommate and I shared, the top of it. Grabbed the first thing I could find, you know, parted my hair, pulled this part up, went to the sorority, and this was I don't know any other way to say it, this was the snooty sorority. And I'm not very snooty, you can probably tell. So they were very nice. The sorority house was beautiful. We sat down for dinner. The table, it was long table, white tablecloths, more silverware than I'd ever seen any place. Cloth napkins, and there was a lady that served the meal to us, and she was not the cook. She was just the lady that served the meal. And, we were making small talk, and I was doing fine. We moved from there after dinner into the living room. Beautiful living room, colonial fireplace, couches, beautiful carpeting, and so we sat on the floor. The whole time we're sitting there on the floor, I had people all around me, so we were sitting in like a big group on the floor, and I had people, I could tell they were kind of looking at me, and this meeting's going on. Pretty soon, one of them leaned forward and said, "Do you know you have a perfectly straight purple line all the way around your head?" And I knew immediately what I had done. My roommate was an art major, and on top of the dresser, she had all of her art pencils and she had markers. And the vis-a-vis purple marker was the one that I had picked up with that point and drawn the part in my hair and then pulled it up on top of my head. So clearly, in that part, it was totally purple straight line. Now, if that had happened today, I would have been on the floor laughing, telling them that story, and they probably would have loved me. But because I was insecure and at the snooty sorority, I said, "Oh, that roommate of mine, she's an art major. I bet she drew that there while I was asleep." Did she turn you over in your sleep to get around? They didn't say anything else. Needless to say, I was not asked to pledge. So imagine if I had been able to laugh at myself. They probably would have, I probably wouldn't have pledged anyway. And they might not have even asked me, but at least I think they would have laughed at the story just like you did. I can't tell that story enough now, and I could tell you about 50 other ones that are just as funny, but I won't. So you got to learn to laugh at yourself, and I wish now I could go back and relive that, because what a fabulous story that would be. So if you can have a sense of humor and learn to laugh at yourself, that is invaluable, and it will take you everywhere you need to go. So we already talked about, Lisa said, welcome those closed doors. And there's a saying, when God closes a door, he usually opens a window. I can't tell you how many times that's happened to me. Has it happened to any of you? You? I mean, you can probably think of an example where you thought you wanted to do A, B, and C, and UCLA wasn't available to you. You said, oh no, you ended up at Santa Barbara on the beach. Sometimes those closed doors are a blessing. You may not realize it at the time unless you're Mary Poppins and you know there's a pony under that pile of poo in the middle of the room. So just know that that happens to everyone, and sometimes it's so much better. And you may never know why, but sometimes it's better. So learn to expect that, learn to roll with it, and enjoy the journey, the positive things that are going to happen afterwards. And the last thing I said was, say yes. Now, I've just told you not to put too much on your plate. So I don't mean say yes to everything that everybody asks you to do all the time, volunteering or, can you bake 27 cookies? And I won't tell you that I was up all night last night baking for a party. Where's Jen? Baking the cookies for the party at work and decorating the little Christmas tree that I promised I would bring. So I have not been to bed. And oh, by the way, how many of you did that all night and then got up and cut your own hair? So yes, I haven't been to sleep yet. And I can tell you, how many of you have been asked to do something and it's outside any experience you've had, or it's outside your comfort zone? I mean, it can be any, raise your hand, always. Is your first instinct to say, I can't do that? Is it? Well, no, good for you. She's going, no. Well, I've been asked to do things like run for office. And my first response was, are you crazy? I can't do that. And then I let that stew for about 3 or 4 hours. And of course, you can't help but think about it. And I said, I can't do that, And then I told myself why. I've been to all the meetings. I've been on all the steering committees. I've done A, B, and C. I can do that. So say yes. You never know when somebody's going to give you an opportunity to get completely outside your comfort zone, and that may change your life. That may change, like Lisa, instead of staying in psychology and counseling, can you go to the academy next week was the question. You said yes, and now you're the police chief. Well, it didn't happen, just like that. But those things happen. I mean, I can tell you, and it's easier to see as you get old, and you can look back on your life and see how many times that's happened, and it's always turned out for the best. Again, because Mary Poppins, I just don't remember the bad times, but that's the other trick. Remember the good things. So you guys did a great job helping me with my keynote speech. So we said, surround yourself with positive people, stay away from the negative Nellies. Keep an open mind, and that kind of goes along with the say yes thing. Have a backup plan, or maybe 2 or 3, like Santa Barbara, that was good. Keep your priorities straight, and by that I mean those core values, and you're going to operate inside those boundaries. Be positive in all things. You're going to remember the pony and the poo for the rest of your life. Time management, I can't preach to you about that, but take it easy on yourself, and don't be afraid to purge once in a while, and get that fresh start. Keep that sense of humor, because it will save your life in so many situations. And sometimes people need a person that is fun to be around. So you want to be that fun person. If I'm doing something and it's not fun, it will be fun by the time I'm finished. So welcome those closed doors. They may be a blessing in surprise. And then say yes. And those times when every instinct that you have says, I can't do that, it's outside my experience, I don't know those people, it's too far from home, say yes. It may be the best decision you ever made. And I'm so glad you're all here today. You energize us. Mentors, do you love this thing or what? Yeah, we do.
Thank you so much, Mary Ann, for that insightful speech. Can we get another round of applause for Councilwoman Edwards? So our next activity is going to be a panel moderated by Ms. Randy Joel. Ms. Randy Joel currently serves as the city clerk for the city of Temecula and previously served as the city clerk for the cities of Lodi and Fountain Valley. As a city clerk, Randy serves as the local elections official, campaign and conflict of interest filing officer, general liability claims and contracts administrator, and administers records management and legislative programs. Randy is the legislative director for the City Clerks Association of California. She also serves as the department representative of the League of California Cities Board of Directors, is a member and former chair of the Legislative Committee for the International Institute of Municipal Clerks, and is the liaison to the Fair Political Practices Commission on behalf of the city clerks. Over the last decade, Randy has worked on several key pieces of legislation affecting the city clerk position, including bills related to elections, public records, and open and transparent government. Please welcome to the stage Ms. Randy Joel.
Somebody did a good job Googling. So, I know the mentors got an opportunity to move around, but the students did not. So before we introduce our panelists, I want everybody to stand up, and just do 5 jumping jacks really quick. Everybody stand up and do 5 jumping jacks. All right, shake it out, shake it out. All right, so you guys got some blood flowing. All right, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and invite our panel members up as they can come up as I'm reading their bios. Dr. Esther Kim, Darlene Wetton, Police Chief McConnell, Mary Ann Edwards, and Dean Johnson. All right, I'm going to read these bios, and then we'll go ahead and get started. All right, Dr. Esther Kim, originally from New York. Dr. Kim attended medical school at the State University of New York in Stony Brook, Long Island. She then went on to train as a specialist in plastic surgery at Loma Linda University Medical Center, where she graduated as chief resident in plastic surgery. She's published scientific papers in medical journals such as the Aesthetic Surgery Journal. She's involved in clinical research projects, including a study of deformational plagiocephaly.
Very good.
The quote, flat head shape that can sometimes be seen in newborn babies. Aw, what a great cause. Dr. Kim has a personal interest in the history of medicine and was the recipient of a humanities scholarship to study at the Wellcome Institute for the History of Medicine in London, England. In addition, she is a strong advocate for women's health education. Thank you, Dr. Kim. Darlene Wetton has served as the CEO of the Temecula Valley Hospital since September 2012. She earned her bachelor's in nursing from California State University, Dominguez Hills, and is a summa cum laude graduate with a master's in business administration from Weber University. Previous to this position, she held leadership positions as a chief operating officer and as a chief nursing officer in hospitals within Southern California. Darlene was previously the COO of Corona Regional Medical Center. Under Darlene's leadership, the entire employee and medical staff of Temecula Valley Hospital are committed to providing patient-centered, family-sensitive care. Thank you, Darlene, for being here. Police Chief McConnell. Lisa McConnell attended the 119th Basic Peace Officer Academy and began her Sheriff's Department career assigned to the Robert Presley Detention Center. She later worked patrol at the Lake Elsinore and Southwest stations until she was assigned to the Personnel Bureau as a department recruiter. In 2004, McConnell was promoted to sergeant and assigned to the Corrections Division at the Southwest Detention Center. In 2004, she was also promoted to sergeant and assigned in 2009, she was transferred to field operations and worked a variety of assignments as a sergeant at the Paris station until she was transferred. Wow, you did a lot of transferring. Yes. Until she was transferred to the Media Information Bureau as the department's public information officer. Chief McConnell holds a Bachelor of Arts and a Master of Science in Psychology. She is a graduate of the Supervisory Leadership Institute and was promoted to Temecula Chief of Police as of August 1st, 2017. Fun fact, she is Temecula's first female police chief. Hashtag girl power.
Hashtag you go, girl.
Marianne Edwards was born in the tiny farming town of Cameron, Missouri, and was driving a tractor before she was 10 years of age. Raised on the Midwest, work ethic and the importance of faith and family, those values are reflected in a life of community service. While attending the University of Nevada at Reno on a full scholarship, Marianne took a summer job with a small engineering firm where she met Tom Edwards, a young engineer. They were married 18 months later in 1976 and moved to Orange County, where Tom had enrolled in law school. In 1988, Marianne Edwards moved to Temecula with her husband Tom and 3 small children, Jonathan and twin daughters, Casey and Corey. In 1997, Marianne was appointed commissioner to the Temecula Public Traffic Safety Commission, and in 2000, she successfully ran for a seat on the Temecula School Board, where she served for 4 years. In 2005, she was elected to the Temecula City Council to fill a seat vacated by newly elected Riverside County Supervisor Jeff Stone. She was re-elected to her city council seat in 2006 and served as Temecula's mayor in 2009. Fun fact, she also just got re-elected to District 3. Congratulations, Marianne. And Marianne is also the only female on the city council, so more hashtag girl power. Dean Johnson. Joyce Johnson has a bachelor's degree of science in nursing from University of Phoenix and a master's degree of science in nursing from California State University, Dominguez Hills. Dean Johnson stated her career, I can't just say Johnson, I have to say Dean Johnson. It doesn't sound right to say Johnson.
Yes.
Dean Johnson started her career at Mount San Jacinto College in 1999 as faculty in the nursing department and became the Associate Dean, Nursing Education and Allied Health in 2005. Currently she is the Dean of Instruction, Career and Technical Education, and oversees the career educational programs at the Menifee Valley campus. She also served on several statewide initiatives that address nursing education and the critical nursing shortage. She has been very instrumental in writing and securing several nursing and allied health grants to expand programs at MSJC. Welcome, Dean Johnson. All right. So we have a very, very distinguished set of panel members here, and we've got 5 questions that actually came from the ladies themselves. So we'll go ahead and give each panelist an opportunity to answer the same question. And the first question, it is kind of like speed dating. The first question is, why did you decide to go into your current field? And we'll start with Marianne and work our way down. And you have about a minute, ladies.
Okay, so when we moved to Temecula, I volunteered on the kids' first day of school at Sparkman Elementary, and Leslie Woods, who I called the clerketary. So clerketaries really run the schools. They're the one that man the front desk. They either let you in or they don't let you in. And she asked me if I would do the school newsletter. She didn't tell me that it was done every week and 1,100 copies, which I did by hand. And so that started me on my volunteer service in Temecula, and I ended up serving on numerous boards, volunteered for steering committees, every steering committee the city had for a new project. Back in 1988, there wasn't even a retail store here. We had to go to Lake Elsinore to go to Kmart. So I served on all those steering committees because I was interested in the city. I loved it. I loved the people. And that's how I ended up being elected. I was so involved. I guess they figured they might as well ask me to run and vote for me. So I was going to be there anyway. And it is wonderful to be able to serve in the city that I've loved for 30 years.
Chief McConnell, why did you decide to go into your current field?
Well, has everybody seen, and it was a remake, Chips?
Yeah.
Okay. Puncharello, John. So I was a young girl in Boise, Idaho, and on my dirt bike, and I wanted to be a female motor. So that was my dream. So I would chase the cows around in the fields, and that's what I was going to do. Then I had a near-death experience. I almost died in a car accident where we rolled off a cliff, landed upside down in a river. And it was amazing how all of us reacted totally different. So that's how I ended up going into psychology. I wanted to know, why were we so different? We went through the same thing, yet we reacted completely differently. Then I graduated, and I'm like, yes, I'm going to start my career. So I applied with the county, and they didn't even call me for an interview. And I'm like, well, wait a second. This is my calling. This is what I need to do.
That door's closed.
And that door slammed in my face. So I went down there, and I noticed deputy sheriff. I thought, let me try that. And I went through the testing process, and I kept passing everything. And I'm like, I'm leaving it up to fate. And I got right down to my 1-year mark from when I had applied. And again, they hadn't called me. And I'm like, what? So I called, and they said, you did really well, only this academy's full, so we're going to put you in the next academy. Well, knowing I was coming up on 1 year, I wouldn't have been able to. I would have had to start all over with the whole process. So I had applied at UCR. I was accepted. And literally 2 weeks from starting a master's program, and like Marianne shared, I got the phone call. Can you start the academy on Monday? A girl broke her leg. And I did. I thought.
Poor girl.
I thought about it. I put a lot of, soul searching. This door is open. I'm going to go into education. I want to do this. This is where my mindset is now. This was my dream. My childhood dream. Should I just go this direction? And I said yes. And 28 years later, look at where I'm at. Mm-hmm. And honestly, I've never regretted that decision.
Right. Glad you said yes. You should break her leg.
I know.
All right, ladies, I'm going to, before we get on to Dr. Kim answering the same question about why you went into your current field, I'm going to, for those of you that like to read, how many of you know who Shonda Rhimes is? All right, some of you do, right? I mean, great producer, director, Grey's Anatomy, Scandal, all that. She wrote a book, The Year of Yes. So I would highly recommend it for those that are interested in reading something over the Christmas break, in addition to whatever else you're doing. The Year of Yes by Shonda Rhimes.
Very good.
Dr. Kim.
I'm probably one of the few, but I've wanted to be a plastic surgeon since I was 12 years old. And what does a plastic surgeon mean to a 12-year-old? Not much. But I knew that I wanted to be a physician, and I really loved art, so it just made sense to me to combine those two. And it's just interesting because during med school, you go through different rotations, you see all the other specialties, but nothing really turned my head. It was just that from the beginning, and I feel really fortunate about it. And I guess I just feel blessed that I found what I'm passionate about and what I feel that I'm good at such an early age. And at this point in my career, I can really say that was the best decision I made. I feel my career is more satisfying now than I ever could imagine as a 12-year-old.
She did my lower lids 10 years ago, if you want to know.
Mary Ann.
And they look pretty good still, don't they?
So what
You look
happened-
beautiful, no matter what.
Remember, what happens at the Young Women's Conference stays at the Young Women's Conference. Darlene.
So I had a career change very early on. I got married, I was engaged at 15, graduated high school at 16, and married at 17. So when I was college hunting, I was already married. Wanted to go into interior design. That was my love. I'm an artist, I paint, and it's a lot of fun for me. So I thought, well, this will be really great. I'll get to use my creative juices and go into interior design. They based my income on my parents' income, not on the fact that I was dirt poor and married. And so I couldn't afford to get into interior design school. I went back to the high school and talked to a career counselor, even though I was already kind of out of school because I graduated so early. And he said, you know, what do you really love about school? Well, I loved biology. I just thought it was fascinating. I loved the sciences. And he said, well, you can use a lot of your science, you know, what you enjoy, and go into nursing school. So he had really encouraged me to follow my passion for science, even though I was really distraught about interior design. So that's kind of how I got into nursing school. When I was a nurse, a staff nurse for many years, I couldn't do enough. I couldn't do enough change. I always wanted to get involved in making things better and changing things and serving on committees and saying yes to everything. And I thought, you know, I've got to do more. So I wanted to lead. I wanted to be in charge of things. I'm very competitive. So I always wanted to do more. So I was always raising my hand for the next opportunity. Till I got to the point where I had done so many career changes within the same organization, I was going to have to assassinate the CEO in order to get that job. So I thought, okay, I'm going to have to leave. And I left. And it was very scary to leave after being so many years in the same place where you're very comfortable. So I got to live my interior design dream here because I got to design the new hospital. So it was kind of cool. So I got to pick out the paint colors, and I got to pick out the lighting and the carpet, you know, and all these different things, and design things in the hospital. So I got to have a little bit more fun doing what I love in the beginning, and also using my nursing background.
I did not know you painted.
Well, I shared my story with the two tables of the ladies that I sat with earlier, but I'll share with you all. I knew from the beginning I wanted to be a nurse. I, as a child, was a very sickly child, so I spent a lot of times in the hospital. And I just knew that that wasn't the norm for kids. And so just all through my childhood, it was all about what I could do to help and about service. And so I became a registered nurse, a pediatric nurse. Trauma nurse, a flight nurse, intensive care nurse, but all for peds. And so by doing that, I knew that I was doing what I was called to be, and I was a nurse to help. I went into education by happenstance. It was a friend of mine that said I had a gift for teaching, and I considered this friend a great mentor. So I went into teaching, teaching for now over 20 years at Mount San Jacinto College is where I'm currently at. And then with teaching, I went into administration because I wanted to, and I knew I had an impact I wanted to make. And I wanted to ensure that anyone that had a desire for education was given that opportunity. So I feel in my role as administration, I'm able to make that change, have that impact, so that I can open doors for other people to have opportunities. And so that's kind of the route that drove me to my career. I am a little competitive sometimes too, when I have to be, in the sense that if I believe in it and I want to ensure that someone else have that opportunity to achieve it, then I'm gonna do what I can to do it. And now that I know you are interior decorating, with a new campus coming on board, and I'm in charge of designing that, I'll look for you. So that's why that's the route I took to my career, and I don't look back. I was driven. I was on a path. I had a very strong advocate mom that really ensured and pushed. So that's why I am today. Why I'm here today. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Dean Johnson. All right. So the next question is, did you have a female mentor in your life who inspired you along the way? I'll give you guys a chance to think about it. A female mentor in your life who inspired you along the way. Marianne, you're shaking your head. Go for it.
I did, because, my father died when I was 8 years old, and my mom just couldn't handle it. So my little Irish grandmother really became, and her daughter, my aunt, really became my mentors and my female role models. And that was wonderful during my childhood years. And in school, a little bitty town like that, I had 100 kids in my graduating class, and I can credit 3 teachers who kind of took me under their wing and found my strengths. And obviously, my strengths were speaking and music. So they pushed me into situations where they knew I would succeed. To build my confidence, and they came to all of the plays I was in, and because I didn't really have family except grandmother and aunt that came, and then another couple of people that were very influential when we moved to Temecula, and I got after we'd been here maybe 10 years or so, or maybe longer. I got a call one day, and it was from a lady named Barbara Tooker. And Barbara Tooker served on the Temecula School Board for 16 years, and she'd been a teacher, an administrator, and I think a principal in her lifetime. And she said, well, when are you going to run for the board? And that's when I said, are you crazy? But she kept pestering me, and she even got a group of people to keep calling me and pestering me. So that's when I said, I really could do this. I was very active in the schools. And I ran for the board and I won, and she became the best teacher mentor, because school management and school governance is very complicated. It's more complicated than city governance, and there was a lot to learn. And she spent those 4 years encouraging me, pointing me in directions, encouraging me to take risks and do things. And I actually got my master's in governance at her direction, and it really changed everything for me, because I'm a much better council person, and I know I was a better school board person because of it. So Barbara Tooker is, and she's still in town, and I see her once in a while, wonderful mentor. So find those people that will see the positives in you and find your strengths, and then gently shove you in the direction where you'll succeed.
Thank you, Marianne. And I have been advised by code on my screen in front of me that we are running out of time. So I want to finish this question, and even though we won't be able to get through all 5 questions, I have one more question that I want you guys to answer. So if you guys will finish up this question, and then one more briefly, Chief McConnell, a female mentor in your life who inspired you?
Well, 28 years in law enforcement, we make up traditionally about 10% of the population. So most of my career, I've been surrounded by men.
Yes.
And I think back at the women, and honestly, there were true pioneers. So strong women that started when they were, and I experienced a little bit of it too, where you don't belong, we don't want you here. Mm-hmm. But honestly, it's the negative women that had the biggest impact on my career. 25 years ago, I gave birth to twins, and one was in intensive care for a week. My captain basically sent a message to me that was, stop breastfeeding those babies and get back to work. She was a female captain. She never contacted me when my daughter was in intensive care. So I thought, really? You really don't care? You don't care about me? You don't care about my family? Seriously? So that impacted me. I've always thought, and I've always instilled in my troops, that it's more important to care about people and take care of each other. Always remember where you came from, and always never stop caring. The second female was a female lieutenant, and I was working in the jail, and I get called into my female sergeant's office, and she has a memo for me. So she sits me down and she goes, and she's not a very, I guess, very plain Jane looking type woman. So she gives me the memo and she goes, look at me, I don't know what to tell you. So I look at this memo and I start reading it, and it says that I look too feminine and might be appealing to the inmates, so I need to change my appearance. So I kind of sat back and I go, what am I supposed to do? And she goes, I don't know what to tell you. She goes, the only thing I can tell you is you have to initial and date this and make a copy and keep this for your records. And I'm like, okay. And then I hear that she refers to me as one of the ponytail girls. Oh my God. So I complied. I put my hair in a bun. I wore, and I've always had nails, and I always will continue to have nails because I am a girl, and I like to look like a girl.
And you look really good.
Bless you.
Yeah.
So I would do clear polish, and I'd have my hair in a bun, and I'd tell my sergeant, I feel like complying today. And then the next day I'd do bright red nail polish, and I'd do a really fluffy ponytail. And I'd tell her, I just don't feel like complying. And I kind of figured, what is she going to do? The memo said if I refuse, it would be reflected in my ER. So I'm like, go right ahead and write an ER saying that I look too feminine. So I get a call from this lieutenant one day, and she calls me in her office, and she says, this is a Wednesday afternoon, or it was Tuesday, late afternoon Tuesday. She said, Thursday you are to report to the Lake Elsinore station at 8 o'clock. Do you have a problem with that? I said, no, ma'am, thank you. And Lake Elsinore had a reputation at the time of rolling people up. People weren't making it on training there, so she sent me there on purpose. I didn't get the 5-day notice, and she thought for sure that I wasn't going to make it. She even ensured that I wouldn't make it because she called and talked to the training sergeant and said, this girl is not to make it off training. Oh my gosh. So when I got there, it was cowboy days in the 90s in Lake Elsinore because there were only 2 people patrolling 900 square miles. Yeah. So you really had to be tough, and you really had to take control right from the get-go. I was determined there was no way I was going back to that jail to work for that woman. And I made it off training, and my entire reputation was formed in the city of Lake Elsinore. So honestly, I would love to send her a letter and thank her, where I wouldn't be where I'm at today if she hadn't have sent me to Lake Elsinore. So I'm very thankful for her.
That's a great story. That's a great story.
But one of the takeaways, too, is you don't have to put someone else's light out in order for yours to shine.
That's right.
There aren't that many of us. We need to build each other up
That's
and
right.
champion everyone's cause.
That's right.
And be the cheerleader for each other.
Yeah, that's good.
Absolutely.
I meant to say that and forgot.
Okay.
That's a great story.
So this actually will be our last question with 3 more panelists to go ahead and answer. And I think out of Chief McConnell's story, the other thing is always, spite is always a very strong motivator.
Yes.
If somebody tells you you can't. All right, Dr. Kim, a female mentor in your life who inspired you along the way.
My mom was, I guess, a typical immigrant mom. She came to this country with literally $100 that she had borrowed and a suitcase and everything. She was a nurse. She worked hard. She never complained. She had set our breakfast out on the table, when she was working a night shift. And,
I'm really grateful for the example that she set to me. Actually, I don't thank her enough, so that's one person. I would say also in surgery. Surgery is a male-dominated field, and I was really fortunate that the women resident surgeons who were ahead of me were such good examples that by the time I came along, they're like, oh, a female surgery resident, you're going to be good. You're going to work hard. You're going to be ready. And I'm really grateful to them, too. So just remember that people ahead of you forge the path, or you might be forging a path for somebody behind you.
Right. Thank you, Dr. Kim.
There's a couple different women that I'd like to reference. One, I had the opportunity to spend quite a bit of time with Meg Whitman. If you're not familiar with her name, Meg was the founder and CEO of eBay. So very successful. She went to Princeton for her undergraduate. She went to Harvard, very highly educated woman. At an event similar to this that I was coordinating to get women leaders together in a room, she was the keynote speaker. And I was very excited to be able to get her. This is a very powerful woman who then went on to run, Hewlett-Packard. So this is a very successful businesswoman. When she arrived at the event, she brought up her mom to speak. And it was so cool to have the two of them there because her mom was Meg's mentor. And she talked about values and really what to be able to stay true to your values that you were taught by your mom and what her mom meant to her. And I thought that really stayed with me because there was a lot of wonderful values that I had learned from my parents that have held true to me throughout my years and my career to stay true to what you believe in. If you're really into faith, if you're really into your family, to stay true to that in business. And so I learned that from Meg and really her taking that risk to bring mom up onto the stage. And there was probably about 8,000 people in the room. It was a big conference, and we knew nothing about mom coming. And she was quite elderly, but she spoke very eloquently about how she had raised her daughter. I thought that was really, really, really cool. The other mentor in my life, and don't be afraid to have younger mentors. We oftentimes think of a mentor as someone like those of us sitting on the panel that are maybe older than you, very experienced. My daughter has been a tremendous mentor to me on how to be successful working with women of all ages and women of all cultures. And she reminds me that I can't always think about how I think because of my age and my experiences. She's completely different than me. Right now, she's 35. But when I really started listening to her was probably when she was in her 20s. And she'd be like, Mom, really, the shoulder pads? Seriously. Like, oh, really? Is that like a problem? And Mom, you haven't changed your hairstyle in like 15 years. You need to recreate yourself. You need to think about people are looking up to you, people are watching you, and you can't look like you grew up in the 80s or the 60s. You got to change your look. And she would teach me, thought about social media. Don't be afraid of it. And I'm thinking, it isn't something I'm comfortable with. She loves it, and I'm sure everyone in this room is exceptional at it. Technology, things that I would be afraid of, she would encourage me. So look for those younger mentors too. They have a tremendous knowledge, and they keep you balanced when you're hanging around people of your own age to think about somebody that's at a different age and has different experiences.
And what's wrong with shoulder pads again?
Nothing. Thank you, Darlene. Dean Johnson.
I would have to say my mom, who has been my strongest and best advocate throughout my entire life. And if you knew her, you would know why. She was not educated herself, so she really, really, really pushed us all into education. And unfortunately, I was the only one that she pushed the hardest, or should say I didn't push back, of my 7 siblings. She also told me and taught me how to have my voice and to use my voice, because nobody's going to tell your story better than you. So don't be afraid to do that and use your voice. And then being a nurse and predominantly women, I was surrounded by some great mentors throughout my nursing career who not only helped me develop my gifts, but shared their gifts with me. And it's those gifts that I have come to acknowledge and come to rely upon that has really helped me in my career. So I would say, just as the others panelists said, just that mentor that you have, whether old, young, or whatever, just really rely upon that as you start to develop yourself. And know that the possibilities and the opportunities are yours. And it's through your voice that will carry you to be successful in whatever career you choose. Thank you.
All right. So let's go ahead and give all of our panelists one more round of applause. Thank you, ladies. And while our students are coming back up, we're going to take a quick picture and then we'll go ahead and go back to our seats.
Tall and thin and young. Tall and thin and young.
Ladies, if you want to go back to your seats, you're moving.
Yeah, thank you. So the conference will be wrapping up soon now, but first we're going to have a raffle. We had one ticket in the back room and we shuffled them all up and had those selected ahead of time. So we're going to be raffling off 2 Kindle Fires and a holiday candy package. So we're going to start with the Kindles. The first Kindle is going to be going to Brianna Navarro. And if she's not here, then we'll have you come up or...
Is Brianna here?
No? Okay. No, we'll still go. We'll still keep going. It's okay. The city has tons of Kindle Fires. Paris Dugan?
Oh, yeah.
Cool. And our second Kindle goes to Dana LaDuff. Not here. How's Charlie Garcia? And then for the Starbucks holiday package, no, Candy holiday package, Indiana Rivera. So I just want to sincerely thank everybody for coming today. My name is Claudia Chi, and I am the co-president of Youth Innovators. If you're interested in becoming a youth innovator, feel free to reach out to anybody wearing one of these black polos, like all the way in the back there, or you could talk to Mr. Charles Walker himself, our advisor. So the goal for our breakfast conference was to connect younger women to more experienced women and sort of feed off their knowledge, and I think we did that today because our mentors are incredible, so I'd like to thank them again for their appearance today. So for closing statements, I'd like to reintroduce Ms. Councilwoman Edwards, who's going to give her final remarks on this event that she basically created for us today. So thank you.
Well, I don't know about you, but I had a great time. And I think we didn't have coffee today. I'm taking an informal poll. We didn't have coffee today because we didn't want you guys bouncing off the wall. How many of you drink coffee? Yeah, thank you. Do you bounce off the wall when you have your coffee? It probably just gets you like up to normal, like, you know, like me, right? Okay, Charles, we're going to remember that for next year. Sorry. But you know what? And let's give credit where credit is due. Charles and team, amazing job. Exactly. How many of you went to our college fair at the mall? That is also Dr. Charles Walker. And it is Dr. Charles Walker. He's a Harvard graduate. Yeah, uh-huh. We'll talk about that when we have boys' breakfast, okay? And he does that college and career fair, and he calls every single one of those colleges, and we think it's the largest one in the country. We know it's the best attended of any college fair anywhere because, duh, it's at the mall. So it's easy to get you to the mall. So, you know, one thing I like to do, and just really quick, because I know we're really long on time, but I like to ask a couple of people, what were your expectations when you came today, and assuming you weren't here last year, what were your expectations and what have you learned, or how are your, you know, what have you learned that's different than what you expected? So, you know, anybody, volunteers, have to raise your hand. Oh, don't be shy. Okay. This is why we love this event. Students, come on. What'd you think when you were coming today? You think, oh man, it's city stuff. You know what? Come on, come on, come on. Don't be shy. Don't be shy. Oh, come on. We just told you you need to step out and be bold. Okay, go ahead. You can. You can do anything you want. And just because you start in one direction doesn't mean you can't change and go in another direction. Or, as we heard from some people, 2 or 3 directions, you know, moving up. Chief McConnell was promoted from lieutenant to sergeant within a year. And that's, you know, rare to have that many promotions that, you know, close together. So one more person. Come on. Come on, come on, come on. Come on. What'd you think?
I have a microphone for you so they can
Okay, good.
I learned that you have to stay strong together with everyone here because everyone's like amazing. You guys are all awesome. And we just have to stay strong and believe in each other to get through things.
You do, and it's really true. Just because somebody else succeeds doesn't mean you can't succeed also. In fact, you can be their partner in their success, and you know, it's that support system. You know, we need to support each other, and I think the tide is turning. At least I see in Temecula schools. We've tried to develop in Temecula schools, you know, that attitude. You know, nice matters. You know, so encourage each other, hold each other up. Now go back to school today and find that one girl, that one young lady that's sitting all by herself at lunch, and go up to that young lady and see, you know, what's up with her. Ask her who she is, ask her what she's doing. You may find that she is going to be your best friend. It's that one person that you're going to be able to call for the rest of your life. So I had a great time, Randy. We have questionnaires on the table, survey. So we need you to fill out the survey. Put coffee at the top. And again, I know I'm speaking on behalf of all the mentors. Thank you, ladies. I love being able to associate you and knowing you. Council chamber. Council chamber. Thank you, mentors. You are awesome. Awesome, awesome. Thank you, ladies. Good job, you guys.